Hello and welcome to Sidequest. This is our weekly video game show here at Geekverse. I'm your host Dylan Musk, and I have with me these two boys. Once again, we got the Crown Prince of Parties, rather,
Yeah.
Travis Snell. How are you doing?
Good. I should have been the clown prince of Gatorade because you know what? Every
Yeah.
once in a while, it's just a regular Gatorade. Something about this one was like the Stanley, like, oh, that's got some punch. It just
Okay.
hit my gullet and was like,
It has the same color as the Stanley punch.
it does, but for some reason, it just felt better than the other Gatorade. So I'm in a good mood. I'm ready to talk about some Nintendo Directs.
Yeah, and then another party is with us here too. Taylor Field, how's it going?
It's going good. Happy to be here. Happy to talk Nintendo.
Yes, that's what we're here to do today.
Yeah, you sounded like you're like someone's off the camera holding a sign like, say this about like your hostage situation.
This episode's a day late, of course, but we wanted to wait and cover the direct. This will be kind of the final episode of all the summer showcases, and then there's Gamescom that happens again in August, I think. So we'll get another
Right.
reprise of maybe some more information there. But yeah, it should be fun, and it's been fun to go on this ride with all of you guys, watching all these and covering all these conferences that have been going on. And next week we'll be back to the regular side quest goodness that you can expect here. So. We're going to jump right into it because, as you may be able to hear, my voice is messed up. I don't have time for games tonight. Today, we're getting down to business. We're going to get right into it. Travis, what did you think of this direct? And if you want to throw a number on it, you can. What are your overall thoughts?
I was just pulling up so I have it on the watch along here. I think I would give it. It's tough because I think they did everything you need to do in a conference to have a 5, but I think it was still, because I'm looking at it, it's 42 minutes. I still think it was even like a tad long. I think there's a couple games that they still could have put in like a montage, but at the same time, I know they might be excitement for other people. Maybe it's also just, it's not that it's a knock, I guess. I don't know how I feel that I guess it depends for each person. There's a lot of remakes here or a lot of remasters and stuff like that. So that's where it's like, there's layers of hype that can happen where I think if it's like something for you, like for me a couple of years ago with Mario RPG, right? When that got announced, like, oh, this is a thing for me. So this is very, very exciting. Where there's other ones like, I don't care too much about this. So I think even at 42 minutes, and it didn't feel too long, but I still felt it could have been maybe trimmed like maybe even 10, like I think so. But I think for the most part they had good pacing. They had what a lot of other places don't do is new games with like concrete announce dates, or I would assume concrete, but you know, something like September. Like I'm thinking in Nintendo, I do very much enjoy this method of most of the games they show in these directs and these bigger ones lately have been when they're comfortable with it, and I do like that.
I think Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom are like the only games that have been delayed from Nintendo in the recent past.
That makes sense. I remember Zelda. Yeah,
There's been games, Metroid Prime took forever. We still don't have a date on it, but like they never really announced those dates. So yeah, I feel like for the most part they try and wait until they're ready with that date, like almost 100%.
And even also, we'll talk about even with Metroid, they did come out and say, hey, we aren't confident with this. We're going to redo it from the ground up. I don't think they said ground up, but they used that kind of terminology, right? So even Nintendo being official is like, hey, don't expect this game because we need to work on it. And that's the thing where usually you want to have one big last thing, a big surprise. I think Metroid was that because I think we were all expecting it at some point, but still it was one of those games of like, is it happening? Is it in the ether? Who knows if it's going to be good? So I think I'm going to go a 4.5. Pretty much a 5, just maybe with some pacing issues. But yeah, I think they had a really good showcase, and I think I'd put it I think I'd still give Xbox the upper tier because they had a bit more of a better pacing, I think. But Nintendo still does a great job here, so I'm excited to talk about some of these games.
Yeah. How about you, Taylor?
I mean, I think that there's a few things that definitely caught my eye, and I like Nintendo because you're not getting like a full 10 to 15 minutes of like, hey, let's look into some gameplay and talk about that. You have like super long, like a Forza segment where you're getting a long deep dive into it. I don't need that from Nintendo. I'm happy just to have like the quick cut, and I feel like they've done justice in that department where it's like sometimes they'll cover like, it could be like 5 games within a minute. They'd be like boom boom boom, and it just has like the title at the bottom of the game, and it shows a cool little thing, or then a release date, then it goes to the next one. And so I appreciate that. This one, like 42 minutes, I feel like it's kind of in line with usually what a Nintendo Direct is, so I'm fine with that. And for me, it just really comes down to what really got me excited. And there's the one that I'm curious more about, but other than that, like it didn't really kind of clue in until you mentioned it, Travis. That, yeah, there's a lot of kind of like remakes, or I guess like HD
Yeah,
kind of
remastered.
remasters.
A combo
yeah.
of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So is I'm wondering, okay, is this because new releases are being kind of held in the back burner for a new Switch console, and maybe we're just
Yes.
we're focusing our energy on a bunch of these HD remasters just to kind of like keep the market satisfied for the time being with the current Switch. But I would have liked to have seen some more new stuff. And while there is one new thing here that, as I said, piqued my interest, I'm curious about it, and I'm excited to talk more about it. So I would, if I had to give this a number, I'd probably go like a 4 out of 5. I enjoyed it. It's always fun to watch Nintendo, and it's exciting when they are, going from game to game. So
It's not always fun. Remember, this podcast started when we just were off the Puppet Nintendo Direct. Remember, one of the worst
Yeah, a dark
E3s
time.
ever. That was, I remember, we covered that in their very first episode of Geek First, was that Nintendo Direct being so bad. So they can be
Star
back.
Fox puppets, right?
Yeah.
Fuck, I forgot about that.
They massacred my boy.
Yeah,
Puppets,
they're less
bad
playful
game.
these days. They're much more like down to business. They
Yes.
still have a little bit of playful, like they have a lot of puns in these directs, but for the most part, it's a lot more like, okay, let's get these games and info out here. I'm very much in the same boat as you guys here. I think I'd also give this a 4 out of 5. I had I kind of want to roll closer a little bit, like knowing that they were going to do a direct this month. I had pretty low expectations, just thinking like, okay, they're coming to like the tail end here of the Nintendo Switch before they announced that sequel console, which they talked about how they're going to talk about that soon. They did the announcement of the announcement thing. And so I figured, okay, if we're going to get anything here, it's just like a couple straggler type of games. But then when they said it was 40 minutes long, then I was like, okay, well, that's like a full length direct, as Taylor was saying. So makes me think that there actually is quite a bit to be here. And so yeah, I think this was a solid direct. There was like 2 or 3 games that were complete surprises to me, some updates for things. I was like, wow, I did not see that coming. So there's some weird curveballs in there. I think with the Nintendo Directs too, there's always like there's different styles of them, and there's even like sometimes I feel like there's an association if they have one, like if they do a direct in the afternoon, usually like afternoon our time, usually that's like, okay, maybe there's more of a North American focus on the games here. Then if they do one like this, like a 7 a.m., it's often is like, okay, here's a bunch of like Japanese focused things, and it's like the timeline is more focused for that country, and that feels like the case here. There was like so many JRPGs and like Japanese games that was like subtitles and stuff. And a lot of
You
those,
remember this? It's like, I don't.
and honestly, for me, like they all kind of bleed together to an extent. So there's definitely a few duds, but even then, it's like, okay, that's cool. That's for someone, and I still got some other interesting stuff here and some updates on things that we've been waiting for updates for. So overall, I think they delivered a good showcase here, and yeah, one that was I guess it was way better than I was expecting, just because I had such low expectations. So that's where they blew me away to some extent. I feel like for a Nintendo Direct, I'm curious to see the day when I give them a 5 out of 5 if it doesn't have a Smash announcement. I'm just so biased, and like that, a Smash, like showing a new character, a new DLC pack, like that gets me so jazzed that like I'm curious what it'll take for a Direct to ever hit a 5 out of 5 without that. And that's just me personally, Maybe they would just have to have like all the major series except for Smash, a new Mario Kart, a new 3D Mario, a new Zelda or something, but that's hard to believe that they would punch all that in one Direct. So
Marvel
we'll see what
Alliance
happens.
4,
Yes,
stuff like
that would do it too. Yeah.
I was trying to think back because I remember there was that one, I think it was the year after or 2 years after Sony had like their showcase of Dreams, that Nintendo had one like that. But I have to look back because I still work at the Ramada. I think Smash may have been in it. I'll have to do some digging.
Yeah,
But I
I
remember
mean, Smash was like with all the DLC that tailed for like 2
Yeah.
years after the game's release, and then like a year lead up into it. It was a long time of getting, a new character in each one of these things or every second one. So let's jump into it here. As always, we are gonna skip some things, a lot of those JRPGs that I don't think any of us are really gonna have much to say about. So yeah, this is not comprehensive, of course, but just more the things that I think are relevant for us. Starting off here, Mario and Luigi Brothership. This is coming out November 7th. I was pretty surprised to see this. There's so many different kind of offshoots of the Mario RPG games where there's Paper Mario, of course. There's Mario and Luigi. There's Super Mario RPG, which is the one-off. And then even like, some of the old sports games were really like deep in like RPG mechanics, like some of the Game Boy Advance ones and stuff. But Mario and Luigi is one of those sub-series that I really thought we were done with, at least for a much longer period of time, with the exception of maybe getting like other ports. Like we got one of the Game Boy Advance games on Nintendo Switch Online recently, things like that. partly because the studio that makes all those games, Alpha Dream, or who has made all of them historically, shut down a few years ago. So this is being made by someone else. We don't know who because Nintendo never really announces that thing. But yeah, so I'm pretty surprised to see this. But with new Mario Party games, obviously 1,000 Year Door, that remake just came out. We had Origami King on the Switch. Super Mario RPG came out last year, so they've really been pumping out these RPG games. I don't think you guys have played any of these games before, but what did you think of this showcase for this one?
I played one a long time ago, but it was definitely a handheld Game Boy version. So, and this was a kid. I remember really enjoying it. I like that aesthetic. So, I was surprised because I'm not sure. I felt like I didn't hear this rumored at all. So I was kind of surprised that this is dated for this year.
None of this really leaked as far as I know.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like even when we get to that other Zelda game later. So yeah, for me, this is something it's on the radar. I'll see what people say. I wouldn't mind dipping my toes into it, but it definitely won't be this year because there's other, whether it's backlog games or games coming up around that time that I go, okay, like Star Wars Outlaws or maybe some other fall stuff where I just don't think I can justify it. It is only 2 players, but it looked great. I don't like that title, Brothership. Just feel like I just don't like saying the word brothership. Like I don't know what it is.
I kind of love it because it's so stupid. It's not brotherhood and it's not friendship or partnership. It's just something stupid in between. Like
it's on a boat, right?
So the tone of these
ship.
Games. Yeah. There's like the double entendre to it.
Yeah, sure. But no,
but I respect your take on that.
yeah, it looked kind of like what you talked about, Dylan, where it's not the exact same as Mario RPG, but it had like Paper Mario RPG, they all have different looks, but they're within like the same realm of almost like color scheme and kind of vibe, like vibrance. So no, this looked fun. Like I said, I do have RPG, so check out me and Dylan's review. But I've kind of scratched this itch for now. But this will be good probably in like a year or a year and a half when it's like Christmas or when the Switch 2 is coming out. Maybe this gets discounted. I think that's where I will be, unless it's just reviewed massively. But I think it's smart because they said it's been 9 years since the last one. But I think it's smart because they still want to be pumping out Mario games. Mario's hot again, like last year, second biggest movie of the year. So it's just like, this makes sense of you can't always keep doing like an Odyssey. You can't do another classic platformer. What else do we got Mario related? Well, we haven't done one of these in almost a decade. Boom, there you go. So I thought that was smart and a good way to now. It was funny because Fanboy Clay asked, what do you think you're going to see? And I said something with Mario, which was just a joke. But literally the first thing was Mario and Luigi. So, but no, I thought it was a good showing.
Taylor, do you think you'd pick up one of these? Have you played any of these before?
I've never played any of them. I don't know if
Have you played any of the Mario RPG games?
No.
None of them, hey?
Oh, man.
That's kind of a blind spot for me, too, with a couple exceptions, so...
I think you'd like Mario RPG, like the last one that was like remastered and everything. You should give that a whirl.
I'd be lying if physical, I said... so you should borrow that from me.
It was definitely kind of. I was intrigued by it. I was definitely intrigued because I don't know if I'd ever go back and play the original one, but seeing the remastered, I was definitely. I was looking at it. That and Mario vs. Donkey Kong was another remastered. I was kind of eyeballing too. So I like that they're doing those, but this one though, I don't know. Like. Maybe, 80 years old. I got some time. We'll give it a go.
Gee, you're not going to play it till you're 80. My goodness. Okay.
Jokingly, I'm probably in the same boat as you. I'm in the same brothership as you on this. I don't think I'll pick this one up. If it goes deep on sale at some point, which it won't, that's when I would potentially pick it up. But right now, there is that Game Boy Advance one on Nintendo Switch Online that it's been on there for like a year or two at this point, and I still haven't jumped into it. So that would probably be the next one on my list because I kind of have it downloaded and ready to go. I played a bit of Dream Team. That was the pack-in game with the 3DS that I bought. And then I've always been really interested in Bowser's Inside Story. That was another one of the 3DS ones that I thought looked really good. Or I think it was a remake of an earlier game on the 3DS with new content. So, but you can't really buy that anymore because the 3DS store is closed. So I don't know. It's one of those sub-series that I feel like I should go do Paper Mario before I go to Mario and Luigi when I'm making time for a Mario RPG. So, yeah, I don't know if anyone here at Geekverse will be picking it up. But I thought that it looked really great. I like the art style. At one point, the combo attack they were doing was like pulled right out of Strikers. Luigi kind of kicks the ball up or a shell up in the air.
Yes, and it spins and it's fire in the eyes almost, but the shell's
on
fire.
It made me wonder, like, maybe Next Level Games is making this game. That's the studio that they acquired a couple years ago who's made the Mario Strikers games, among other things. They're doing the Luigi's Mansion remake, but I don't know. I don't think that's a huge undertaking that they wouldn't be able to take on 2 games at once. So I don't know. Curious to see who's actually making this. But yeah, once again, that's coming out November 7th. Next up, NES World Championship NES Editions coming out July 18th. This is like a kind of collection of a bunch of NES games and with built-in challenge runs and speed runs and things like that. And it was kind of interesting when I was looking into this. So there was the two NES remix games. I'm sure you guys remember those on the Wii U, and then the 3DS both had their own like different but similar versions. And I was surprised to see that they never actually ported those games to Switch. You would think they maybe would do a bundle pack and put them on there, but they never did. So I think this makes sense in that way. It's kind of like a, I don't know, filling that market, so to speak. But I don't think I'll be picking this one up. I'm NES games not aged the best, even though that's, I'm nostalgic. It's my first ever console, but I don't need to go back and do speed runs of them. I think I'm good, so I'll be skipping this one.
Yeah, it comes out July 18th, so a month away. What do you think a game like this goes for, price-wise?
It is on the store now, and I think it was such a freaking so many words. I'll try and punch it in and see if I can. Find
Yeah.
an answer
No,
for you.
I'm similar to you where, I like that era. I still every once in a while dip my toes back in it, but it would be in the sense of I'm just going to play something and the whatever they call it. What's the Switch option where you play a bunch of old games?
Nintendo Switch Online.
Okay. Fine.
It's $40. 40
yeah, that's
Canadian bucks. here.
Yeah, even though
Or-
it's
yeah,
a cheaper
Canadian.
game, still, it's like, yeah. For me, it's like if I ever want to scratch that itch, I'll go into the Switch Online and boot up one of those games and be happy. I retired many years from the Geek vs. Gauntlet, so the idea of speedrunning competitions that really only gets busted out once a year, and that's for the charity stream. And even then, your boy did too much of that. So yeah, not for me. But hopefully people will enjoy it. I just don't know. I just don't know what the return on this is. It feels like a very specific crowd, so I just don't know. If it's
I'm
worth
guessing it was like a pretty
making.
cheap development.
That's fair,
as well.
okay.
So maybe that's where they can
Yeah.
make their money back on it. Small investment, small
Yeah.
return.
But I'm with you. If someone had it and we were doing a charity stream or something, sure. But I don't think I'd ever buy this.
Yeah, I mean, I did own one of the NES remix games and it was not really for me. Shows the Wii U, such a great library of games over
Hell
there.
yeah.
So.
I wouldn't buy it, but I think that just seeing how they have like the speedrun features and stuff like that, like I love playing that OG NES Mario, and it's quite often I will go back and I'll just pop it on and play it, and of course I don't feel like I have the need to get this because I have access to that already on the not virtual console, the Nintendo
Switch Online.
Switch Online. So I
It's such an easy
course.
name, guys. Come on.
It just feels like it should be something else. I feel like Switch Online should be for multiplayer stuff, and the classic games should be for something else. But no.
Yeah. So the idea of speedruns, though, for that, I'm always trying to go faster and faster and faster. So
Poor
Sounds
man.
like you need to play a Sonic game or something instead.
Yeah, Sonic sounds like it's your bag, baby.
Next up, this will be a quick shout out. So, as I mentioned, a lot of JRPGs, a lot of turn-based games in here. But the one that stood out to me was Fantasian Neo Dimension. These games have always had a cool art style. But this one in particular had a couple of mechanics. When I see these games, like how often are these games actually having like genuinely new mechanics these days? They have new stories and characters, but it's like they're kind of just more of the same at this point. But I thought there were some really cool things there. One with like the bending mechanic of trying to like aim your shot and hit multiple enemies. And the other thing I thought was really cool was as you're going through the world, running into random enemy encounters, you can just like stockpile those, put them in some like dream dimension, whatever they called it, and then fight them all at once and fight like 20 enemies all at once, which I think is such a cool idea and would also make the game a lot more fun to play in terms of not having to like stop every 5 seconds because you have to fight some other really weak enemy. Instead, you can just pile them up. So I thought some really cool mechanics. So yeah, there you go, Fantasian. This was maybe the most surprising announcement out of all of them for me. Nintendo Switch Sports is getting a new sport this summer.
Yeah, for
It's getting
free.
basketball, a free update. This game came out like 2 years ago, I think. And then they added golf I just looked this up, in fall of 2022. So a year and a half later, they're just randomly adding basketball.
Basketball, here you
So
go.
freaking weird. Like how much more sales is this going to generate from this new sport? Like it just seems like I don't know why they would do this at this point unless it was already in development. But then again, why did it take so long to finish? So
Yeah.
a very puzzling update. Don't get me wrong, I'll jump in and play because I own the game. But a
That's
really
cool.
really
Yeah.
weird choice.
Feels like something they would save for like the third edition, like for the Switch 2,
Yeah.
and like you got basketball. So I agree with you. Just saw it. I guess it's just like sometimes Nintendo just does wacky, cool stuff. And that's cool that it's there. It's free. Awesome. I'll be excited to shoot some threes with you guys come November.
Yeah, I can definitely bring that along. Next up is Mio Memories in Orbit. This was a 2D platform, maybe Metroidvania, maybe inside like sort of thing. I don't really know what the genre would be, but I just thought the art style was super, super cool.
Yeah.
The color schemes and kind of the hand drawn aesthetic, the kind of scribbliness to it, but like I don't know, it's scribbled, so it's kind of messy, but then it's also very clean. So I don't, and the way you're moving around just looks so kind of fast and frenetic and really engaging. So depending on what the price of this one is, I could see myself picking it up. It looks really fun.
Yeah, I
Any
think
thoughts on
that just the it does look fun the more I watch it because I did remember not as much, but I think it just looks different and it moves different. Like obviously, of course, it's mechanics if you're moving one way or the other, but just the way the actual character's floating and stuff. So there's the one particular spot I like that almost like a black and white area. So yeah, I might keep an eye on it. I like it. It looked interesting. So
Cool. Sounds good. Travis, did you end up buying Disney Illusion Island? I remember you were always talking about it, that you thought it would be fun.
I was talking about Disney Illusion Island.
I
All the
swear you
time.
were like into this game and wanting and thought it looked like a fun platform to play with your kids.
Oh yeah, maybe. I think it's a thing where I don't think I knew it was out.
It came out a long while ago, and it's also getting
2000.
I believe,
only
free
last
update.
year. Only last
Okay.
year. Not too long ago.
Okay.
And when was it last year? July. It's not even a year old, Dylan.
Okay,
July
okay.
28th.
My bad.
No, that's cool. I remember it looking fun, but like I said, I honestly that's the problem with games, especially something like that. It feels like I'm not going to see that on TV or like advertised on a podcast. So cool free update. I'd have to take a look at the price, and who knows, maybe that'll be good stocking stuffer come this Christmas.
Yeah. I think another good stocking stuffer could be Looney Tunes Wacky
Oh,
World
yeah.
of Sports. I thought this looked like a lot of fun. I'm not a Looney Tunes guy by any means, but what did you guys think of this one?
Absolutely. I'm a Looney Tunes guy. If this game does this have a date? I'm watching the trailer right now.
I didn't write it down. Let me see.
Let's see. Porky Pig comes out. No, I don't think so. If this is out before the charity stream, we'll be playing this for sure. I got this on the radar
Very nice.
because I just feel like I feel like gimmicky sports games is our bag. You know, like Mario Tennis, Strikers. This looked very similar to, like, especially the soccer looked like they're Strikers, like with the items of everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is definitely I'm all down, and I like the aesthetic here too. It's almost like a hand drawn animation moving around. So yeah, this was great.
Yeah, this looked like a lot of fun actually, and I was surprised. You said it, the Strikers vibe that the soccer is pretty much. It was very close, and you got the tennis in there too. This, like, I never thought I'd be like running for a Looney Tunes game or anything like that. But I think making it sports style it's a good way to kind of rope people in. I'd say.
Yeah, between this and a lot of those characters being in multiverses, kind of a prime time for Looney Tunes fans right now. Get them platform fighters, get them in all these different sports games. It's
And
pretty
it
cool.
showed off soccer and tennis, but is there any
Basketball as well.
Basketball's in
Okay,
there.
well,
Yeah.
of course you gotta have basketball, right? So okay,
Mhm.
so I'm still trying to find a date, but yeah, no, and I don't think that's gonna be like a game that's gonna break the bank or anything. But I don't think there is a
I think it
date
is
on it.
cheaper than your usual AAA game, which is nice.
yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing. Let's see.
I like
okay,
the art style of it too. I thought it was doing something kind of different and unique for Looney Tunes. So
There's golf too,
that's cool.
apparently. So it's
nice.
4 games of arcade tennis, golf, and soccer.
there was a
So-
lot of 24-hour stream fodder in this Nintendo Direct. It was speaking to us.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. They are giving us content coming up November. So
So
yeah.
look forward to that. Next up, Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. So for anyone who doesn't know, this is a Wii game originally that got a 3DS port, and then this version, I guess what you would say is a hybrid between them, because obviously it's not going to have the 3DS double screen features, but it has whatever new content was added to the 3DS version. And then it's kind of up-resed, but it's still, not looking like a prime AAA Switch game, if I'm going to be honest here. I don't know. I desperately want like new Donkey Kong stuff, but like I've never really been a big fan of like 2D Donkey Kong games. Like I'm really just a Donkey Kong 64 diehard.
hell yeah, man.
I don't know if I'll ever get a sequel to that, but I don't know. This is not for me. Like I on my wish list for years and years has been Tropical Freeze. I'm still waiting to pick that up, but it never really goes deep on sale. So
It's still not on sale or anything. That game's old.
well, I mean, I'm sure it's gone on sale, but not for a juicy amount.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think I'll see myself picking this up once again. Maybe someday when it's deep on sale, if it ever happens. But cool. I'm glad that this is coming over. I think once again we're still gonna get a lot of stuff now that the 3DS store has been closed for a while. Anything that was kind of lingering on those consoles, we will still get a lot of those ports, as we had a couple in this direct here. So I don't know. Any thoughts on this one from you guys?
Taylor?
Did you guys play this game back in the day on the Wii or 3DS?
Like fiddled with it, I think.
Yeah, I would have been fiddling too. No, Donkey Kong 64. I remember after school going to my friend's house playing it. That was a good time.
Yeah, I don't like that you put that on the ether, Dylan, because I'm just with you. I'm like, oh, that's not going to happen. So I didn't have
Well,
it.
Switch 2.
I feel like we've talked about this, and then I forget about it, and now I'm sad again, knowing like I
Yeah.
hope that would be such a hype announcement, like whatever they call it, just a spiritual.
I mean, they just have
successor to
so little interest in doing any Donkey Kong stuff at all that I feel like
that. I don't get it.
when they finally want to do a new one, it's going to be a 2D game probably. I
We
don't know.
need
Maybe they're getting
new set of
the rocks
combos.
off with these remakes though, and then they could do that. But once again, that was also made by Rare, and Rare's now with an Xbox, so like they wouldn't make it. So I don't know who would make it, but I don't know. I
Yeah.
desperately want it, but I
I'll-
just don't see it happening.
I'll even take that. The same way Mario RPG got that treatment. If they could find somebody to do that with 64, I'll even take that. Not this. I'm with
Yeah, and
Clay
that's
in the
not
chat.
one that is on Nintendo Switch Online because, well, there is Rare games. Once again, that's the weird thing. Like the Banjo Kazooie, Perfect Dark, which we'll talk about. Like there are Rare games on Nintendo Switch Online, but not that one for some reason. So it's weird how they pick and choose what goes to that service and whatnot. But yeah, Travis, did you play the? I guess you said you fiddled with
Fiddle.
it.
I play a little
But
bit.
I know you love
don't.
Tropical Freeze, right? So do you have any interest in this?
Love's a tough word. I had like a strained relationship with it because at times it was pretty tough. It was like a big update.
Okay.
So I'm like with Clay though. Patreon. Clay,
Pause
where
it
I
on
just
though. You
was-
like it, right?
Yeah. No, it's a well-made
Okay.
game. Absolutely.
just-
Yeah.
Shouldn't throw the love word around. Is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a strong one. But yeah, I was really hoping this was gonna be something new when it's not. So that's kind of a bummer. But I still like 2D Mario or 2D Donkey Kong enough. So I'm down for that. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe we just need them to announce that movie and then they'll start pumping out these games
Yeah.
because
Maybe.
and like I agree with you. This looked very dated, even for the updates and everything. Especially those missions when they're like play the 3DS ones. Those looked extremely rough. So
I think the interesting thing with this game to me was the release date. They threw a January 16th on this, so I think that was the only like official date for a 2025 thing. And I guess what I'm thinking here is that they said that within the next year they're going to announce their sequel to the Switch. They're going to announce their next console. My guess is we're not going to get another direct this year like they often do a September one. I don't think we're going to get that this year. I think they laid out everything, and that's why they put a release date on this and announced it here is because they're not going to have that fall one. So they're just lining up all that stuff to January, and then maybe in February or after this game in January, that's when they do the big direct drop with potentially the next console. Probably the next console would be my guess. So I think that's why they did that release date. That's my little theory there.
yeah.
Next up, Dragon Quest 3 2D HD. So this has been announced for a while, but I don't think we've ever actually seen it physically. Maybe there's screenshots, but I don't think there's ever been a trailer for it. This is coming out in November, and then they announced that they're doing the 1 and 2 remakes next year, I believe. And I was watching this, I'm like, that's weird that they're doing it in this order, but then the creator comes on and talks about how like chronologically 3 comes first. That makes sense. I love this engine. I think it makes the most beautiful games, and I've been curious about this because I really want to get into Dragon Quest, and I have jumped into 8 in the last couple of years. So I've been playing that, and it's really fun. Something about this though, the gameplay, it looked really basic. And one of the things I heard from, because people have had impressions with this, is that they described it as like, yeah, this is a remake of an NES game, and like it's still an NES game, but it just looks really good. And to me, that's kind of like, okay, well, then I feel like mechanically it's probably maybe a pretty simple game. I guess for a remake, that's what you want. But for me, I would want something that can maybe stand up a bit more in the modern day. So, maybe I'm speaking too soon on that, but it's definitely on the radar for me, and as well as 1 and 2. So I'm glad that they're finally announced. It's cool. It's coming out soon. This could be a potential pickup for me, but I definitely got to wait and see more. I'm going to guess nothing from you guys on that.
Nothing for me. No.
I'll jump to this next one. I would love not to be on this review, but to hear a review from you two covering Funko Fusion. I think that would be
Oh god.
that would just be a joy for me to listen to. What did you guys think of Funko Fusion?
I'll let Taylor take that one.
I mean, I think Funko is it's quite the brand. Holy smokes!
the
Like
brand.
it's a dominant brand, but I don't know. I mean, it seems kind of cool. You can kind of like select through the boxes and pick the characters or stuff like that, and do a bunch of different things. But I'm not running to get this. I own two Funkos. I have a sealed Dr. Alan Grant, and then I have an old Luke Skywalker from Last Jedi. That is the only two Funkos I have, and that's
What a mix.
where I'm ending it. Yeah,
I don't think they're in this one. I didn't see them in the trailer.
I don't think they're in
No.
this either.
No.
The ones they were listing were big franchises, but not ones particularly
Shaun of
for
the
me.
Dead
And
and stuff.
yeah, and I have Funkos. I've never bought a single Funko, so yeah. If
Right.
Taylor's not on the review, neither will I. So it'll be a
Yeah.
maybe Kirkland can.
If I
save
am
me.
on it, you would be on it though.
Absolutely not.
I don't
No.
own any. I've bought one. I bought one for Kirkland. I got him that Dishonored one. Back in the
Right,
day,
yeah.
So. Yeah, this is the kind of the freaky section of the direct. They had this. Then there was like Luigi's Mansion, reminding us that it's coming out. And then there was Denpa Man, which is another just wild looking game that we don't even need to talk about it, but it's crazy looking.
I think I missed. What's the official date on Luigi again?
It's this month. It's next couple weeks from now. Next week or
Fuck.
something.
All right.
Are you what? Are you intrigued by it?
Oh, I just like just I wanted more time on that, but maybe it'll get thrown down, or maybe I might wait till the spooky month and buy it then, because I have played it before. I'll want it because I wanted to play it on a bigger screen. I'm not a handheld guy, so just a busy time. But yeah, maybe I'll wait until the spooky month to pick that up.
It was fun to play on the 3DS. It's still a lesser version of the OG, and for me personally, I think it would be an easy day one purchase if they did the original on Switch and like remastered it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that would be sick. And I don't know why they picked this one, but that seems to be the theme, right? With Donkey Kong and
Well, this one's
a few
never been on
others.
consoles though, right? So it's a whole different. There's a bunch of people that probably never even bought the Game Boy or whatever it was.
True, but I mean, even if
3DS.
that
3D,
first
thank
one,
you.
that first one, I mean, that's just why not? Like, why not
It
do
is
that
weird. Like
one?
they've been doing a lot of GameCube. Like I guess they did the Metroid remaster, and then the other games they've just been porting them, like Pikmin and like Mario Sunshine. Even though Sunshine was part of the All Stars pack, they've been doing a lot of 3DS stuff too, as I mentioned. So it's weird that they're kind of picking and choosing. So it is strange to me that they picked this one.
Maybe they're
but
saving
I'm
it
sure,
for the,
I'm
Switch
sure you'll
2.
get the GameCube one at some point too.
Yeah.
Didn't you what was it? I thought they re-released the first one. Was it on the DS? Am I getting that wrong? Just a port?
I think
thought,
so.
I
I don't think they ever re-released it on a
I don't think so.
handheld.
Uh,
As those fingers go.
I thought they re-released it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Maybe just on the Wii, like Virtual Console. It's the only place.
Yeah,
Something
I think
like
that.
maybe.
but,
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget which one of you I was on Sidequest with, and I talked about playing through the second one. I think it was last year. I picked it up on 3DS and did not enjoy it very much, so I'll definitely be skipping this one as well. Next up, Metal Slug Attack Reloaded. This was an out today title. They described this as a tower defense, though I watched this trailer multiple times. I never saw a tower or anything that made it look like a tower defense game, so I don't know what's going on there. But it looked really cool. There's this game I played back in the day called Crimson Warfare. It was like a browser game where you would like spawn in like ships and tanks and stuff like that. And it's just like you just buy the units and then they go in and auto attack each other and you try and take down the opponent's base, which is a genre like I haven't really seen done a whole lot. And this looks very much like that. Pixel art looks fucking fantastic in
Yeah,
this
it
game. The
does. It looks really
animations
cool.
look unreal. So looking into this, the Reloaded part, this is I guess, re-release of an iOS game. This was an iOS game or Android mobile game, whatever you want to call it, from a few years ago. And so this is kind of the Switch, the console port. And so, yeah, I guess the good part about that is that it's not going to have any of the weird mobile microtransaction-y stuff with it. This game's like $13, so I might pick this up. I think it looks really cool. It looks like something different, and I love Metal Slug like art style, and I've played some of those games. I'm still waiting for that Tactics one that they announced, and I think it's supposed to come out this year. So this is kind of a random. When I saw like Metal Slug, I was expecting that Tactics game. It was kind of a surprise, but yeah, I think this looks really cool. I think I'll probably pick this one up.
Yeah, that's cool.
That Crimson Warfare is still available online, though, if you want to play it.
Did you play that? I feel like that would be a Taylor
I
game,
didn't,
too.
but I was curious. When it's one of those old Flash games, right? And
Yes,
you
yeah.
can still find it. It's on Newgrounds. I got curious because there's a couple.
Oh yeah, looking at these images, oh, so nostalgic for this.
there's
So
a
cool.
few of those old Flash games, like addicting games, mini clip. Oh,
Yeah,
takes you back.
it was one of those. I forget which site I played it on, but next up we got some updates on Nintendo Switch Online. You guys remember what that's called?
Oh no, what
So
does it have?
We got a couple Game Boy Advance games. We got Link to the Past plus 4 Swords and Metroid Zero Mission. They already had Metroid Fusion on there, so I think this is all the Game Boy Advance ones now, and it's good to have that Elder Zelda game on there. I own both these still, so like it's not really that exciting for me, but I think it's cool. Zero Mission's a great game, so for anyone who hasn't played that, definitely do so. Link to the Past, they already have the NES version on, or the SNES version, whatever. I can't even remember what that. I think it was an NES game, SNES game. That's already on Nintendo Switch Online. This version has the 4-player mode and all that kind of stuff. But then the surprising part was they added a new Nintendo Switch Online app, which is the 17 plus N64 version that has Perfect Dark and Turok. So obviously
Yeah.
Perfect Dark, perfect timing for this. Hot off the full gameplay trailer. We got the
They were
Xbox
smart.
showcase.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really nice. I believe that game's already like available through Game Pass on the Rare Replay collection, but I could be wrong. I don't know if this was only ever on the N64, but it could be worth looking into. And then a Turok game, which I don't think I've played this Turok. So it's just funny to me that this is like a whole nother app, and this actually is like a different icon on the Switch. I already downloaded this. It's a different icon on your Switch console. So curious what other stuff is going to go in here. And I'm kind of surprised. Like I guess GoldenEye not an M-rated game. It looks about as violent as these though. So I'm kind of
This is
surprised.
where you'll
God.
get. This is where you get Donkey Kong 64. They'll put in the.
Oh
the
yeah.
mature
Honestly, when I saw the 17 plus, I'm like, oh, is this like Conker's Bad Fur Day? Isn't that like an M-rated game? But no, instead we got this stuff. So interesting. Do you guys think you'll jump into any of these 4 titles that just dropped here?
No, but I laughed that they put Metroid later on because I think for a second people thought that's the old Metroid they were going to get this. This
Yeah, Zelda
direct,
and
but-
Metroid. I guess they did these announcements prior to
Yeah.
the big stuff. Yeah.
But no, nothing. None of these games that were an itch I'm needing scratched,
Okay.
and even Perfect Dark was looking good at the Xbox showcase. That's where I'll maybe dip my toes into that. But I don't
Yeah.
need to go back into that era.
I'll definitely
so.
jump into the OG, but if it is on a Rare Replay on Xbox, I'll go there because they have like modern control schemes, whereas the Switch ones tend to not have that kind of thing. So, yeah.
I'm curious about this, and I've actually been kind of like scoping out because I need to actually change my Switch subscription. I don't think I've changed it since I got my Switch initially.
So you don't
and
have the expansion pack one with the N64 and Game Boy Advance games, is what you're saying?
No, I don't. I just have like the classic NES
Right.
one, and I think the SNES is that the other one in
SNES,
there?
and probably the Genesis is included in that as well. I would think.
Yes,
or maybe
yeah.
not. That might
I
be
think the
expansion
Genesis is
pack.
included in there.
Yeah.
But I mean, they got some interesting new prices in here because I pay like $5.59, I think, a month, and I'm seeing like
Oh, why
What?
aren't you doing the year, the annual?
I don't even know if they had that at the time. Like I haven't, I just subscribed and just let it roll and just haven't really questioned it.
Yeah, it's
but
so
now
cheap
lately
that you don't really think about it in the way you do other subscriptions.
it is. But now I'm seeing what do they got like $20 for a year? Is that a thing
Yeah, I'd pay like
That's-
$25
for individual online memberships? That's not including the expansion pack.
If
Or like-
I mean, maybe
okay.
through like a family plan, you could get it that cheap. But if you're not on a family plan, it's definitely more expensive than that.
Damn,
Whatever I got right now, I feel like I'm paying $25 a year, but I maybe don't have some expansion
it's
packs.
better
or
than what I'm
something.
paying. I'm paying at least $60. I'm funding these directs apparently.
Yeah, I mean, I do get an email every year, and I'm always confused whenever I get it. It's like, thank you for your purchase of Nintendo thing. I'm like, I didn't buy anything. What is this? Someone hacked my account.
call your
Every
credit
year,
card
I get
company.
jump scared by that in my fucking Gmail. Taylor, have you ever played Turok as a dinosaur? I'm gonna call you a dinosaur guru. I don't know. Have you ever played this game? Any of
I
these
used to
games?
love strolling into EB Games and just looking at like Turok 3.
Oh, you just look at it.
I just look at it. I was
Box
never.
art was all you needed.
They just
That's
gave,
all
they
I
just
You're
needed.
like,
gave
I
it
don't
to
want to
'em.
kill the dinosaurs. I just want to look
Just
at
want to
them.
look at it. Yeah, but I've never actually played it. Yeah.
Fair enough. Next up, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. Yeah, it's a very long title. But yeah, I thought this is really cool. This is, I think, 5 games, or was it 5 or 6? Kind of older Marvel Capcom games bundled into one pack. A lot of the fighting games, then a Punisher game as well. I think this looks really great. Depending on the price, I would definitely pick this up. I would love to go back and check these out. I'm not a big fighting game guy, but I'm just such a big Marvel fan that I'd like to go check out all these old games. So, yeah, hopefully this comes out prior to the 24-hour stream. I'd love to play some games with you guys. It'd be a really fun collection to go jump into.
This was the one, and I don't even think it's because the people that were hyped about it. Yes, my like Twitter timeline is more probably Marvel algorithm centric, but this was coming from more the gamer side because I know people. I feel like all I hear about from Marvel and Capcom fans now, the last two games are always such of disappointment. Not saying they're bad games, but I just feel like that community is always let down.
It peaked,
So,
a couple generations ago, I think, right?
So for for those people, these generations, these games are the ones where they found their love or they consider the best of. So I saw lots of excitement, and what I loved about the art style and like the graphics, it's not as good, but if you look at side by sides, it reminds me from like X-Men, the original series, to X-Men '97, where they look the similar, but it is updated a little different and new. And that Punisher game, never knew it existed till today. I had to look it up because like, did they just make a Punisher game from scratch? But no, it came out in 1993, same year I was born. So like I was very surprised. I'm like you, Dylan. I'm not also a big fighting game either, but not also a big fighting game fan either. But I think with it being in the pack makes it a little more different. I love that the Punisher, like they showed multiplayer. Nick Fury is one of those multiplayer people. So
Nice.
yeah, I think this one either way you'll probably see in the stream because we've said before we were planning to do an arcade hour and they have X-Men Children of the Atom. That's one of the ones I would have talked about. So it's just like kind of already there, like the fighting game. We could do a better version of what we did last year with Killer Instinct, and maybe we'll bring Fight Night back in and do some different games. But no, this looked great, and this was the one that. It definitely was Metroid as well, but this was the other one that I feel like even more people. I think just because it was so unexpected. Even Metroid wasn't unexpected, but this was like something that wasn't even on people's radar, thinking that it could happen. So, looked very very cool, and it's coming to it's coming everywhere but Xbox, which is odd. But yeah,
Xbox hates getting superhero games.
they do. Yeah, but they got Blade.
Yeah.
Like I play.
Upblade. Okay. Super Mario Party.
Taylor, not excited at all, eh?
Oh, no, I'm excited. I'll be there.
He'll be there. Super Mario Party Jamboree coming out October 17th. This is the third Mario Party game on the Switch, plus I guess the Nintendo Switch Online ones. But yeah, this game's looking pretty big and bold. There's a lot of characters in here, a lot of mini games. It's all new, of course. You got 7 maps in total, I think it was. 5 brand new ones, 2 kind of one from Mario Party 1 and one from Mario
Western
Party
Land,
2.
baby.
Yeah, so you guys both had a nickname based on this, so I'm guessing you're pretty hyped. Tell me about your hype levels for Jamboree.
Is Taylor hyped? He has a question mark. Another party?
I really sold myself on the concept that Superstars is going to get DLC at some point.
We all
And
did,
I
yeah.
think I am my own worst enemy. While I'm not upset that this is a new Mario Party. I'm gonna buy it. This will be a day one for sure because Mario Party is easily probably like my number 1 Switch game that I've invested the most time in. It's something me and Madison play, and the fact that they've introduced online with Superstars, even the one before that first dropped on the Switch before Superstars, that one as well. Like the online play, we play with our friends a lot, so it's definitely justified for me at this point to buy this day one just for a lot of the memories and the fun times with it, and especially seeing the roster of characters. Waluigi, Birdo, those are our go-tos in this household, and the maps too look like a lot of fun. So the fact that it is not DLC does upset me because I think Superstars really knocked it out of the park. That's my favorite one in a long time. So yeah, this one seems pretty cool though, with the more of the multiplayer aspect being emphasized, because you're getting into like a huge cluster of online people into like doing some of
20
these
people
challenge
you can
modes.
do,
Yeah,
you
like
know?
that's crazy. I mean, that's
It looked like Bowser was back as a playable character, right? In the split screen they showed, he was
I
at the
think so.
bottom, and I think that I can't remember the Wii era, but I think he made his debut sometime in the GameCube era. So that's kind of cool that he's back. So
Yeah, and was Super Mario Party one where he was playable as well? Probably not.
like the previous one,
yeah.
no,
he wasn't he?
like in this the
I didn't
most
own that
recent
one.
one.
Not
that well,
Superstars, the one before on the
Oh,
Switch.
okay.
I'm pretty sure he was, because you can get him as like one of the assists. I remember too, right? Like he had his own dice.
Yeah, I think so. I just can't
right.
remember because
Well,
the
some
second.
of the assist characters weren't actually playable, right? They were
Yeah.
just assist characters.
I think he was though. I think you could play as him.
In Mario Party 10, there was that weird way that they did it because
Because the train one.
Yeah.
train.
Because it's interesting to me that they, for the branding of this, they just had to go Super Mario Party Jamboree. So there's almost a sequel in the Super Mario Party band, which is like the other Switch one. Of course, not Superstars included there. So I don't know what that means for gameplay and stuff, but it's, I don't know, an interesting distinction to me.
In Super Mario Superstars, that was like the remaster one in a
Yes.
sense, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad Taylor's buying this day one, so he'll be there for the stream because I won't be buying this day one. Mario Party is probably my favorite Nintendo franchise. I have to really think about it. I guess
Whoa.
there is some ones where it's like you got Luigi's Mansion and stuff, but I think just the one that I've played the most. Maybe I'll say that. Maybe I won't say favorite because that's a bold claim because there is also Smash. I'll say the one that I've played the most is Mario Party in my entire life. I think it's much like what we talk about with Smash, where, and I'm not comparing Superstars to Ultimate, because I think Ultimate is just like a massive achievement and like a top 10 game of all time. Just for what they had, their roster, everything. I think they just it's like the end game of Smash video games. You know, it's like I can't say enough good things about it. So Superstars is like that to a smaller degree, and for me, it's like, hey, the next game when you do it, you have to do something different. You have to do something kind of bold. And I do think they are doing that here. The problem is I'm just not really interested in it. Like the maps with, oh, you're in a ship and you move this way and you can jump to 40 spaces. All the stuff that they showed was new features. I think that's a great idea because you got to do new stuff. Because if it's just more Mario Party with different maps, that's not going to sell too many people. But there was that. There was the ship one. Then there was another map too where I just was like, it felt too gimmicky. It felt very similar to that train one we talked about where that was different where you moved together. But I just like that OG. Sometimes I think if there's too much in it, I lose my interest. And there was at least 2 maps, and I haven't even done a deep dive. And even then, I think they zoomed down. They just said, "Oh, and there's 7 maps," so I don't think we got to see a bunch of them. So if there's even a
You
few
got a
more,
screenshot of all of them, at least.
yeah. But I
and the
mean, like
name.
even the moving of them and stuff, like
Yeah, the
like,
unique mechanic. On
yeah,
each one.
if it's more like you're on a pogo stick, I know it sounds dumb, and someone might be like, "Oh, it's still Mario Party." I know, but there's still a certain thing I like with Mario Party. I like basic, and then everything else maybe add around it. So yeah, there's just a few things in here that I didn't love. Even the 20-player online mode, it's like a reduced like mini game sort of thing, right? It's not
It's
like
a battle royale, pretty much.
yeah. And that for me was like, nah, I don't really need that. I would love if they said, hey, we're doing Mario Party board and there can be 20 people. Good luck. And then I'd be like, man. And of course, that could never happen, right? But I'm just saying.
It is
the
kind of crazy that they've never done more than 4 for like local co-op,
Right.
considering how many other games on the Switch. I guess mostly
Even
Smash,
6.
but other games
like-
have had greater numbers.
It's the board game like staple, Monopoly. Well, no, actually, that's
No,
a bad excuse.
that's
More
not-
play. I'm thinking like Sorry, Frustration.
No,
those
Monopoly
types of
adapted
games.
with the times, So for me, like I said, I think they're doing the right move of doing some different things. I just didn't look at this and see why I need to get this. Other than Western Land is back, one of my favorite lands. But
That was one of my favorite. It probably was my favorite in Mario Party 2.
the
Yeah.
cowboy outfits and you have the
The
duel of
cowboy
the
outfits
guns.
are
Yeah.
so good. That's on the box art too. It's so
Yeah. And maybe there's a thing. If Taylor gets it day one, obviously we'll definitely play it on the stream, and then maybe that will change my mind. But just the few things they're showing me right now, not anything I immediately need that I couldn't just go play Superstars with Emily and the kids and still have a good time,
Yeah. Well, I will also be buying this day one for sure. So we'll
Whoa.
have multiple copies. Hey, we could do 8-player.
Who would have thunk?
Battles or something.
I'm the
I
one
don't
that's
know how
not
that's
buying
gonna
day
work.
one. Why are you buying it day one? Why is it such a stamp for you?
Mario Party Superstars is also very much like Taylor, just a mainstay for me and Muzz. We're always playing that.
Yeah.
We have friends over. We'll do Mario Party maps. It's been such a great time. I was really impressed with what they showed here. I think the look of the maps is really cool. I love the racetrack map. I think that's such a fun idea. Kind of fusing Mario Kart with Mario Party is like a really fun idea. And then there was the Goomba Lagoon. I think looks kind of cute. King Bowser's Keep, like that looks like a really fun map. Then of course, bringing back Western Land, one of my favorites there. So I really like the look of the maps. The mini games, there is motion controls in some of them, which I'm not heated about. Like I don't
Fudge,
love
man.
that, but it's not the end of the world at the same time. Some of them, like there's one where you're all riding like a Yoshi and you're going through an obstacle course. I'm like, that looks like so much fun. I definitely want to do that. And then I think the battle royale type mode is like a really great idea. Have like a Fall Guys esque sort of like Mario Party thing, and that also means that there's like going to be at least 20 characters in this game, which is really awesome. I think one of my few disappointments of Superstars was that there was like such few characters you could pick in there. It was kind of disappointing. I think they've kind of gotten better with that entry to entry, but then that version kind of was a letdown there. So this one having, the freaks like Ninja and Koopa and Goomba and Monty. Boy. Yeah, you can play as all those freaks, which I always like. So yeah, I think this looks great. Looks like a lot of fun. And yeah, me and Muzz will definitely be picking this one up. So very much looking forward to that. But yeah, I did want to ask you guys about that, like, because I was looking into, what were the sales of Superstars? Like, did it not sell well? Is that why they never did DLC for it? And it's like, it's in the top 20 for Switch games. It sold 12 million copies, did really well.
Is it top 20? I thought it was higher than that. Or is the other Mario Party that's higher?
The list I'm seeing here has it in the top 20, but as far as I know, Nintendo does not report their digital sales. So these numbers are all going to be like way off. Yeah. But with the numbers we have here, it's still top 20. But yeah, like, I imagine that this game, Super Mario Party and Superstars, are all made in the same engine. I'm guessing so. And so I imagine if they're making a map like this, like they can kind of somewhat easily kind of bring them between entries. And I wonder if those maps were like in development or something for Superstars, but then because they had this game like, because that came out 2022, was it? Like 2 years ago? Like
that sounds right.
Yeah, maybe the development time, they're like, okay, you know what? We're actually already working on Super Mario Party. Let's save these maps, put it in that big like send-off Mario Party game, the biggest one on the Switch. That's kind of my tinfoil hat theory on this, like, because that just makes so much sense too, because those games were very much focused on, or Superstars was very much focused on those early Mario Party games and stuff from Mario Party 1 and 2. So it does seem to me, Taylor, like that stuff was stripped out of Superstars and put here, which I would get this regardless of those two maps, so it's not a big deal to me, but it is still kind of weird just with how they've been doing their free updates recently. It was strange that game never got any post-content release. I mean, they never announced it, of course, so we can't expect it, but I don't know. It was strange. So
I agree with your conspiracy theory.
There you go. So there we go. That's Jamboree, October 17th. Very much looking forward to that. Next up was The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Very surprising. This is coming out September 26th, so pretty soon, just right around the corner here. This game is very clearly made in like the same kind of Link's Awakening engine. Link looks the exact same as he did in that game. A lot of the same kind of trees and stuff. But this is, I thought this was another remake of another game in that same engine. Even the map looked a lot like A Link to the Past, and like where the castle was in the center and kind of the mountains off to the side and whatnot. But no, this is a brand new game where for the first time you get to play as Zelda as the protagonist of this game, and she has different mechanics and whatnot. What did you guys think of this? Any interest in picking this one up for yourselves?
No. I don't think it's like a bad, like not anything that I saw like, oh, this doesn't look like it's for me. It also looks like it could be a fun game. I could enjoy it. It's just kind of one of those where it's like, oh, this looks like could be a good to great game. If I hear overall really, really good things, then maybe. But I think it's going to be similar to the game you mentioned. It's just kind of like, well, there's other games that I'm more pressing. So is it a game that I'll never ever play? No, maybe I might find myself on the sticks at some point, but it's not marked on the calendar now. It's like, oh, that's cool. And I think it's fun that I kind of was shocked that there's not been a game ever that you could play like Zelda's the main character. I thought that would have happened by now, like not counting Smash, obviously. It's like,
yeah,
that
just like
feels
the Age of Calamity, Hyrule Warriors games, and then like Smash.
Yeah, which felt very odd. So that's cool, and I like the aesthetic. So yeah, it looked good, but yeah, nothing that blew me away. But I think it's kind of like similar to some of the other titles in that realm. So,
What about you, Taylor?
I really like the art style, and Link's Awakening. That's one that I eventually would like to like explore that kind of world and that storyline a little bit more. And I think that, I mean, I haven't even gotten into Breath of the Wild. I mean, that's one that's, I know. You said horse mechanics. I thought I better not get into this. So, but no,
it's
I
a deep
think
cut at this point in terms of
it is a deep cut.
It is. That's an old. Yeah, you got to be an OG to get that one.
Yeah, it's something I definitely do want to play, but maybe when I'm 80 years old, maybe 75
Right.
actually, 75.
You have
On
a
Nintendo
lot
games.
backed up for when you're
In the
75.
return.
I'll be backed up. Yeah.
He'll be backed up all right. I think this looks great. I loved Link's Awakening. I love the visual style of that game. I'm probably a day one on this. I really, really like this. I am one of those people that was hoping Tears of the Kingdom would have a playable Zelda. I really like that idea. And I like that with that, they kind of rethought, okay, what would that game look like in terms of gameplay? What would be the other distinctions other than just like, okay, it's reskinned and now you have like a different character? But I like that they have this mechanic with this wisdom rod or whatever the hell they called it, where you're grabbing objects from the world and then you kind of recreate them whenever you want. To me, it like had like immersive sim vibes to it, where it's like, oh, you can do things, you can like break the game in a way and do things out of order, and it actually does feel like Tears of the Kingdom in a way, and like building or making weird things. And so it starts out like the way they did this trailer, I thought was really strange, where they're like, and you can make a table anywhere, and it's like, okay, like that's what you have for the latest Zelda entry. You can make a table anywhere. But then as it goes on and stuff that I'm not even really mentioning, but if you're just like looking at the screen, you can see like, wow, there's a big menu of all these different items that you can get, and like how different are they really going to be? I don't know, but I think it's a really cool idea. And I think it's going to be really fun. And then for me too, like the combat side of it, because I've heard some people talking about this, and a lot of people are complaining that like, oh, it doesn't really look like you're doing combat. It's too bad that Zelda doesn't get to bust up enemies and have this combat system. Personally, I have never enjoyed combat in any Zelda game ever. Even in my favorite Zelda games, I don't like the combat. I think it sucks in like every one of the games. Not good. So for me, I'm cool with this, like not really having traditional combat. Instead, you just summon crazy and weird and funny looking enemies, and they do the fighting for you, or you get like some OP big like razor thing and just smash through them. That looks super fun. So I'm very much into that. I do have some questions, and one thing for me is like, I don't know if I really saw a dungeon in this game, like in terms of what they showed here. So it makes me wonder what kind of the structure is going to be of this game, and if you're going to be going around to the different dungeons, collecting whatever different pieces you need, and then going to fight like a Ganon equivalent. Like I don't know. It seems less structured in that way, at least from this first trailer. It looks like a bit more of a looser explore and find stuff, which I'm into. But I'm sure there's got to be more of a like Zelda-like structure to it. So whatever it is, I'm curious to find out. I'll definitely be picking this one up, I think. So.
And what's
also,
the date on that one
such
again?
a big surprise. What was that?
What was the date again? That's this year?
September 26th. Yeah,
they got they got a packed fall coming up, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Very packed, backed up like Taylor in his 80s, yeah.
Yeah. I'm backed up, ma'am.
Next up, kind of two quick hits. Strays coming to Switch, cool. Tales of the Shire. I don't know if you guys... I forget who I've talked to this.
It was Taylor on the cast, I remember.
Okay, I've talked to Taylor about it. I think I've talked to Kirkland about it. Travis, I don't think we've got your take. Tales of the Shire, you picking this one up?
I think I messaged... I don't know if I pinged you directly in the Discord, but your initial thoughts were the same thoughts that I had. And from the... I don't know. Okay, it sounds dramatic, but the nosedive from the sound of the pitch of the game to seeing the game has been dramatic. Yeah. And I have little to no interest in this game. I thought, man, there could be something fun about almost like a tycoon sort of taking care of the Shire,
a
being
slice of life type experience.
Absolutely. Animal Crossing, but Lord of the Rings, right? Something like that. But no, this just looks like the Game Boy version of the Fellowship movie or something. So, yeah, I unfortunately not. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it's going to be a nice sleeper hit, but this is not looking good, and we're on a bad string of Lord of the Rings game right now. So,
yeah, true. Gollum into this, into
what an Embracer Group's going to be doing next. So,
there was the dwarves, right? Mines of Moria game.
Oh yeah, Return to Moria. That looks fun. I still want to pick that up.
Yeah, I hope. Is it out now?
I think it's out, but it might be early access. So
okay,
maybe
yeah.
Not 1.0. It's only on PC, I believe. Taylor, any new thoughts on it? This doesn't really change much from what we talked about previously, right?
Honestly, it's kind of gone downhill for me after seeing it. I think it's pretty shitty, actually.
Yeah, it looks really bad. I'm disappointed for sure. I was very excited for the pitch, as you were, Travis. So that's too bad. But we'll move on to the final game, Metroid Prime. Did I skip over anything that you guys wanted to talk about?
No, you hit it.
Or did I do a good job of deciding what I didn't think you guys would care about?
No, that we don't need to talk about Just Dance. You know, we didn't see it at UB, but we saw it here.
Fairy Tale 2 or whatever that game is. Hello Kitty. Okay, Metroid Prime 4 officially has a subtitle called Beyond. I think they threw 2025 on this. Am I crazy?
They did.
That is correct. Yeah.
No quarter, no nothing, but just the year.
No quarter, no nothing, but they showed off some gameplay,
Mhm.
gave some hints at some stuff going on with potential characters and a villain here.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of this? This is the first time we've really seen this game, and I think they did a good showing of giving us a bunch of different kind of vibes of what's going on here.
Barring a generic to bad kind of review score spread from people, this is a day one for me.
Ooh, okay.
I was a massive fan. I can't remember the exact title because I'm getting older, but whatever one was on GameCube, that game was
I think it was
rented.
just Prime 1 and maybe 2 was on GameCube as well?
Okay. One of them, that game was rented many, many times over and over. Don't know why I never bought it. Don't know why I never told parents about it. But there's just some of those games, right? You'd have as a kid where they were just, you would rent. I don't know, maybe if I beat it and just would rent and want to play it again. But a lot of hours. So I'm not the biggest Metroid guy, but there are certain spots in my heart. And I feel like I've not played a Metro game since then. Also, there's not been too many as well. But I feel that's why for me, this, if it's a good game, then that's an itch that's been waiting to be scratched for decades now, pretty much. So that's why it's like kind of the perfect time, I think, for me to jump back in it. This looked good. I don't think it looked anything. It kind of looks like what you want a Metroid game to be. So hopefully it's not just completely basic, and maybe there is some new oddities added in there. But for the most part, it did look kind of like, okay, what you know and love about Metroid, we're doing that, but it's going to look better. Some new missions, maybe a little bigger areas. So yeah, I think this will be one that'll be on the calendar, and I'm ready. I'm ready to see what Samus is up to. So I thought it was a good showing. I don't think it was like a blew me away. Wow, the blew me away was like the fact that it was here and had a date, like at least a year, right? But it wasn't anything that I was like, man, this looks like it's something completely new. It's like, no, it's like chicken soup. It's like, no, I know what I'm getting here, and I could use some chicken soup for the soul, you know. So I'm excited. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, you're gonna get this chicken soup for your soul.
I will, I'm going to go over. I'm going to share the soup with Ruben, and Ruben's just going to be guzzling it down. He's the
Oh man.
biggest Metroid fan I have ever met in
Make
my
sure
life.
he lets it cool a bit. I don't want him just guzzling hot soup.
He's always over the moon for Metroid. Anything Metroid, he's there, and he's always telling me about the lore and everything like that when we're hanging out. He loves it. So
between this and Summer Game Fest, just your love for Ruben's love of things. I love it.
It's wholesome.
But not you. You're not gonna get in the sticks and.
I've never. The only time I've ever actually had like the reigns over Samus was in a Smash game. So I
feel
don't
like this
have
would be
much
right up your alley
experience.
too. Like being an alien guy. Like I just feel like there's even an Alien Isolation. That's scary. I just feel like there's aspects of this would be a Taylor game. You know. So
Most likely, and I think it's cool to see a game like Metroid Prime where you have the original one being that 2D platformer, and then this kind of changes it up and gives you that first-person access viewpoint. That's really, really cool, and it's bold. So obviously there was that GameCube one, and I know that one's really, really popular. I never got around to playing it, and maybe that's one I'll keep my eyes peeled for. Yeah, I'll rent it. Yeah, go to a Blockbuster.
I think I still have that one on GameCube.
oh, that's a good one.
Right behind me here.
Right,
That's a good
And
one.
they have the remaster on Switch, which is
Do they?
yeah,
That's
which
good
is
to
and
know.
that's not like a HDified. Like that's like a really like they did a really good job with
I
it.
thought
I
we were
remember when
getting
they
GameCube
announced that.
games. When did I miss? I thought there was like a few of them, but I feel like
That
that's
came
a pretty
out-
big...
Was it earlier this year or was it last year? Oh my god, I think
So
it
we're
was
starting
last
to
year.
trickle into some GameCube games, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
they did that. They did Pikmin 1 and 2.
Yeah, I remember that.
Mario Party. They had that. Oh god, what was that card game, Taylor, that you played back in the day? The RPG card game thing. Fuck, what was it called again?
RPG card game.
Oh, it's
piqued
not like
my
a Nintendo
intrigue.
first party thing, but it's a thing that you had played back in the day. Oh,
Now I'm curious.
it's on my
Curious.
backlog list, so I'm gonna go find it here.
Okay.
Oh, Baden Kato's.
Baten Kaidos, that's the one.
Biden. I said that wrong.
Biden.
Biden.
There's your Sleepy Joe card.
But yeah, no, they've been doing quite the pipeline of GameCube games. Not all of them yet, but
And are these
more and more.
online or the ones you have to buy separately?
No, there's no GameCube on Nintendo Switch Online. You have to
No.
buy all of them.
No, I meant like you're saying I can play the GameCube one on Switch, right?
Yes, but you have
It's
to
that-
buy it as a thing. as a
That's what I
separate
mean. It's
thing.
not in a subscription. It is
No.
a separate purchase. Okay, thank you.
No, I don't think they'll ever put game. Maybe a Switch 2. That's their big thing. But like, I
That's
just feel
what
like
I
they can get
meant.
so much money off selling
Yeah.
the GameCube games, like remade or not. That I don't know if they will.
February 8th, 2023 is when Prime Remastered
Right.
came out.
Yeah, it looks
Prime
great.
Remastered.
Looks
Okay.
really great. Yeah, I have a.
Fuck, look at that box.
I know game looks
Where
really
was
good.
I? Having
don't know.
kids.
Probably.
Tired, not
Don't
sleeping.
have time for
yeah.
Metroid.
No,
Yeah,
I might now.
I
There's
have
a Christmas list.
a pretty short history of Metroid Prime where like I said, I owned the first one. That game was way too hard or complicated, or maybe I was just too dumb. I could not get very far in it. I never got rid of it, but it was a game I never really got into. Same with Luigi's Mansion when I was a kid. For whatever reason, like didn't do it for me. I didn't really play it in earnest until I was older and very much
50
enjoyed it. So
bucks.
Metroid Prime, I still haven't gone back to that recently. I never played the sequel or 3 or Other M or any of these other games. So yeah, definitely a sub-series I'm not too familiar with, but I loved Dread and I want more Metroid stuff. So I'm probably going to get this day one. I thought this was a really good showing for it. I just thought like the amount of stuff going on screen where there's like space battles happening above and explosions all over the place and walls busting open. I was really impressed for it being a Switch game, to be honest. I really like the visuals. Even if it's not, not 4K or whatever, I thought it looked really solid. It's got that Metroid Prime that you'd expect. So I'm probably a day one on this. I was very happy to finally see it.
I was gonna say closer to the game. You should get Prime, and we should do a retro for this because I'm
That would be
definitely
fun.
gonna be telling Emily to get this for my birthday or
Okay.
Christmas. Because I don't know when we talked about this. I don't know what direct maybe I missed, but I did not even know this was a thing nor that it was out.
Because it was probably one that they announced like really close to the release. Actually, it might have been.
Been out for a whole year, and your boy didn't even know.
I actually think it maybe was a shadow drop, or it came out like a month after. So you
Okay.
probably just missed that direct, and like time flew by.
And
so.
they have physical copies too. I don't even buy physical
Yes,
copies.
those
but
came
that
later. I remember
case-
that was a thing. Yeah,
that case. Whoa,
it's
it's
looking
looking
good.
spicy. I'm pretty jazzed right now, guys. I
Nice.
thought this was gone for a while, so that's
Yeah.
good stuff. So
No, I'm really happy with what they're doing with Metroid right now. With Dread was like a really good return to form, putting Fusion and Zero Mission on Nintendo Switch Online, and then dropping this game finally. Like it seems like they're really putting some love, some TLC behind Metroid, which is good to see. Samus
Now
deserves
just-
it.
now Nintendo, just wait 5 more years. Let us build up our film resume, and let me make this with Sydney Sweeney, and you got a fucking $1 billion film on your hands. I kid you fucking not. I'm telling you right now. They gotta get a Metroid movie going stat. That's all I gotta say.
I would love it. I would love
Yep.
it. I think that was everything then. Oh, I guess my last question on Metroid was there's no way this game is a Switch 2 exclusive, right? It's got to be on this generation as well, I think.
No, I don't think so. I think it'd be like Breath of the Wild, like that sort of way where it could be a
Right.
double. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
They're pretty good with that. I feel like they don't want. I feel like Nintendo, for the most part, since the Switch era, is not trying to piss people off, which is always a good thing
Yeah.
to be as a company, So
Yeah, I mean, I do think there will be a lot of backwards compatibility, but I also do think like it's possible that within that first year of the Switch 2, there'll definitely be like an exclusive Mario 3D game or probably not a new Zelda thing. I don't think they're ready for that with Tears of the Kingdom coming last year and then this
oh yeah, they got time.
Echoes of Wisdom just coming out, but other things. But yeah, I think this will definitely be this generation game as well. Okay, that was everything for this direct. Thank you guys for joining me on all these summer game showcase things. It was a fun year, a good year, I would say. Not the
Yes,
best, of course,
overall.
but like a really, really solid year. A lot of great games. Really filled up my second half of the year calendar, which I think I needed. It was looking a little thin until all these showcases. So it was nice to get announcements for things that are coming out this year. That's always fun to have. Okay, thank you everyone for listening. We'll be back again next week with more regular Sidequest. Thank you everyone for listening, and bye-bye.